treat a firearm like it's always loaded. That was something my dad told me while teaching me how to shoot firearms and clean firearms. Today I'm going to teach you how to clean your firearm effectively and safely. And it's actually not very hard. So we have a Glock 17, and this is actually a very common firearm for the military and for law enforcement. Now, most importantly, to start safely cleaning your firearm, never put your finger on the trigger. And most importantly, make sure no one is in the direction of the barrel. Now that we've got the hardest part out the way, we are going to show you what you're going to need. First, you're going to need some paper towelettes. Then we're going to need a brush to help clean the barrel. And not necessary, but very helpful, a reach that helps install the brushes or any towelettes to help you clean deeper down into the barrel. And some gun cleaning solution. Let's start by breaking down the firearm. Now, for some guns, they're different. Every model and firearm has a different takedown procedure. For the Glock now, it is actually required for you to pull the trigger for the slide to release. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure it's empty again, and make sure there's no one pointing into the direction of my gun. And I'm going to go ahead and break this down. There we go. Now make sure it gets in a safe direction, not pointing at myself either. And just like that, the slide comes right off. Alright, let's start by cleaning the lower receiver. Right here we have the lower receiver. You can tell there's a lot of metal parts along with plastic called polymer. We're going to go ahead and take a wipe, dip it into the solution, and we're going to go ahead and wipe all the grime and the dirt on the metal and as well as on the plastic frame. Now, the more you wipe it, the shinier the metal is going to get, and that's exactly what we want. We want to make sure we wipe off all the black dirt, sand, and any debris that's inside the firearm receiver. And the more you wipe it, the more you're going to notice that your towelette's going to turn pretty black, actually. That's all the dirt and grime that's inside the receiver, and that's exactly what we want to see. Now, eventually, you're going to keep wiping it until one of your towelettes is going to be clean, even after you wipe it. That's what we want. That shows you that there's no more dirt or grime inside your firearm. Now, next, we're going to want to clean the barrel. Go and take out the recoil spring, and just like that, the barrel should come right out. Now, most importantly, besides cleaning inside the barrel, is you want to clean the feed ramp, which is right here. This is where usually most of the dirt and grime's at, and this is probably, I would say personally, is the most important part to make sure it's clean, so your gun will function reliably every time you fire. Now we're going to go ahead and take a towel again, like the lower receiver. We're going to go and wipe off the whole thing, and if it's shiny, we're going to make it shiny, but if it's black, we're just going to make sure all the dirt and grime is off. And now, to make it easier to clean the barrel, and this is already dipped into the solution, we're just going to go in and out with the reach and the paper towelette. Now, if you have some harder grime inside of there, go ahead and use a brush. And I wouldn't worry too much about scratching your barrel, because after all, these barrels are meant to fire live ammunition, so it'd be pretty rough to scratch up your barrel with just a brush. So we're going to go and do that, in and out, in and out, in and out. And eventually you might see some grime on your brush, that's a good thing. And then we're going to go ahead and wipe it down again. And you can use paper towelettes or just a soft brush, it doesn't really matter. Just make sure you tip it into the cleaning solution, going in and out to make sure it's really clean. And after that, your barrel's clean. Now, for the recoil spring, you got to make sure you wipe that down too. Make sure it's nice and clean and the metal stays shiny. And for the slide, we're going to do the same thing we did with the receiver. You're going to wipe down the metal parts, which is actually the whole thing, but most importantly, besides cleaning the thing in general, is to make sure to keep the parts that usually move when the gun functions clean as possible, because that's what affects the reliability. If there's dirt and grime inside moving parts, your gun's probably not going to function very well. And go ahead and do that until, you know, your towelette turns black again. That means it's dirty. And we wipe it until we see a clean towelette again. So usually after we're done cleaning the firearm, we like to lubricate, especially the moving parts on our receiver and our upper slide and even our barrel. However, we're not going to go over that today. Today we're only doing basic cleaning. So now that it's clean, we're going to go install the firearm back together. Let's go and put the barrel in first. Got that part in. And we're going to go ahead and put the recoil spring. There you go. It's all together. And this is the easiest part. Just slide it back on. Make sure you slide it in the right way. Okay, maybe this is not the easiest part, but there you go. And again, check the barrel to see if it's empty. Finger off the trigger. And there you go. And that's how you safely clean a firearm. And I hope that everybody knows to be responsible if you're a firearm owner. And again, make sure to never point your finger on the trigger and never point it at anybody besides you or yourself. So always make sure it's at a safe direction, preferably downwards. But one last step, which is optional, is highly recommend getting a holster to keep your firearm when it's not in use, to make sure that there's no accidental discharge for sure. And let's go and put this in there. And just like that, you know how to clean a Glock 17 now. Thank you guys.